Experiments.
Experiment.
The Ethics Committee approved all animal experiments.
The Ethics Committee approved all animal experiments.
Population.
Population.
A novel influenza A virus was introduced in the human population.
A novel influenza A virus was introduced in the human population.
Observed.
Observed.
We confirmed the specificity of the observed phenotype.
We confirmed the specificity of the observed phenotype.
Wild type.
Wild type.
The antibody response was equivalent to that of wild type controls.
The antibody response are equivalent to the wild type control.
Statistical.
Statistical.
Statistical analyses were conducted using open source software.
Statistical analysis were conducted using open source software.
This is the end of section 1. Titanium dioxide in food may be genotoxic. Many of us consume processed foods like candies, chocolates, and pastries, knowing that the high sugar and fat content is not healthy. But if you knew that your food may damage your DNA, would you change what you eat? The European Food Safety Authority, EFSA for short, is calling on food manufacturers to stop using titanium dioxide, a common food additive used chiefly to enhance whiteness or create sharper color contrasts. In a May 2021 report, the EFSA concluded that, although evidence is not definitive, the risk of genotoxicity could not be ruled out. While the majority of food-grade titanium dioxide particles are too large to penetrate tissue barriers, up to 50% may be smaller than 100 nanometers, raising concerns of dissemination throughout the body. The threat of genetic mutations is particularly concerning because children, on average, consume more titanium dioxide than adults. Indeed, several in vitro and in vivo studies have demonstrated, for example, titanium dioxide accumulation in the liver, spleen, and even brain of rodents, as well as inhibited growth of common human gut bacteria and more. Still, the effects in these studies were observed in the presence of extremely high doses that do not reflect the typical amounts consumed by humans. Furthermore, the United States Food and Drug Administration has not changed its position that titanium dioxide is generally recognized as safe. So while it's notable that the influential EFSA has opposed titanium dioxide as a food additive, it is probably the case that more research is necessary to make a clear decision on appropriate consumption levels.
The EFSA produced an article in 2021 about titanium dioxide, in which they explained that it might be putting people at risk of genotoxicity. This titanium dioxide is used to enhance whiteness and also provide contrast. However, the USA has not changed its policy on its use in foods because during experiments that were used to produce this data, it was noticed that they were using high doses. So in order to follow up this policy, more information, more experiments are required, especially those that use small doses that would be found in normal food every day.
Is Sputnik V one of the world's most important vaccines? When President Vladimir Putin announced Russia's authorization of a vaccine to fight the novel coronavirus on August 11th, 2020, some people were skeptical about its safety and efficacy. Critics warned that the Russian Ministry of Health had approved Sputnik V vaccine before results of phase 1 and 2 trials were announced, and the phase 3 trial had not even begun. However, as of July 2021, the world's first vaccine against COVID-19 appears to be playing a crucial role in the global struggle against the pandemic for two major reasons. It is effective and safe, and it is easier to distribute among lower income countries than the mRNA vaccines. While it may have been risky to authorize the distribution of Sputnik V so quickly, a move that lowered trust among the European Union and North American countries, according to a July 2021 editorial in the journal Nature, there is mounting evidence that the adenovirus vector vaccine is both safe and highly effective. Furthermore, in a February 2021 article in The Lancet, which described the results of the phase 3 trial, the efficacy rate against symptomatic COVID was 91.6% compared to the control group, and with 0 cases of severe disease or death. In the subsequent months, data from Russia, United Arab Emirates, and Argentina confirmed that real-world efficacy rates were in line with the figures published in the Lancet study. Like those from AstraZeneca and Johnson & Johnson, the Sputnik jab is a viral vector using weakened adenoviruses. Common side effects include fatigue, muscle aches, chills, and others that have been reported in adenovirus-based vaccines. Importantly, unlike the others, there have been no reports of blood clots, even after tens of millions of doses have been administered across 67 countries. Although Western countries will say that the reporting is not sufficient to determine whether this number is actually reliable. Another factor that makes Sputnik V important is the ease at which it can be transported. Unlike some mRNA vaccines, the cold chain is not a major barrier to its distribution. It can be made in 2 different forms, depending on the need: liquid or powdered. The liquid version must be kept below minus 18 degrees Celsius, which is similar to a common food freezer, while the powdered version can be kept in a common refrigerator at around 2 to 8 degrees Celsius. These factors, as well as its retail cost of approximately $10 per dose, has led to Sputnik V being manufactured in other countries as well, including India, which plans to produce over 850 million doses beginning in summer 2021. Despite these seemingly positive success stories, the European Union and the WHO have still not approved use of the vaccine, which means it cannot be a tool of COVAX, the global distribution scheme organized by the WHO. Still, with or without these large powers, Many countries are selecting to employ Sputnik V in attempts to alleviate the damages caused by this pandemic.
Sputnik V is a COVID vaccine originally developed by Russia. Most European countries and health organizations have declared the vaccine as not safe for use in human beings. However, despite this, it is still increasingly manufactured in other countries for the following reasons. One, it is considered more effective and safe. Common side effects include fatigue, muscle aches, and chills. Although, unlike other vaccines, there have been no reports of blood clots as a side effect. Secondly, it is easier to redistribute in that a cold chain is not a major barrier, as it can be produced as both a liquid or a powder. Lastly, Sputnik V also has a cheaper retail cost, hence its increased production in other countries.
This is the end of section 2. Hi, it's nice to see you again.
Hi, nice to see you too. How are you?
Have you seen any good movies lately?
Yeah, sure. Actually, I like Korean movie and some romantic movie.
Excuse me, sorry. I can't understand this paper. Do you have a minute?
Yeah, sure. Can you show me what the part that you did not understand yet?
So, do you have any plans for the weekend?
Well, I need to catch up my works and chill. How about you?
I'm feeling overwhelmed with lab duties right now.
Yo, let's go for a drink tonight and chill, relax.
How often do you cook dinner?
Well, I do have a meal plan, so I don't really need to cook nowadays, so I will say zero.
This is the end of section 3.
Maybe you're worried about using this machine, but yeah, I have used this machine many times and I know how to use it. So let me help you. If any questions about this machine, please tell me. I will assist you.
Good morning, Cynthia Banda. My name is Bello Kamaruddin, and I'm a thyrogenologist. And I was very impressed with the presentation that you just made about endometriosis. I don't know if the paper has been published. I would really like to have a detailed look at the paper. Thank you.
So this map is basically showing uh, China's pig meat production and giving us an idea about how it is. So it's expected, or in 2018, the pig meat production was about 54,000. However, the figures from 2020 to 2024 is an estimate, and it's expected that somewhere around 2020 the figures drop, but there is a steady increase from 2020. It is estimated till 2024, which will probably be about 54,000 or about 54,000. The annual growth rate is estimated to decrease in 2020 and have a sharp increase to probably about 4% increase, and it will decrease again in 2023 and also increase steadily in 2024. So it's just an idea about pigment production in China.
Okay, this schematic here is showing a general estimation of logarithmic size, and this is usually for biomedical research of different particles. So it starts with an atom at 0.1 nanometer and goes right up to a frog cell of 1 millimeter. Now, on the x-axis below, it shows two different types of microscopes, nearly an electron and a light microscope, which is capable of visualizing some of these objects. Now, clearly we can see that in biomedical research, most things that are studied are viruses and bacteria. Hence, a light microscope, as in combination with an electron microscope, is very powerful tools for visualizing some of these agents based on their size.
This is the end of section 5.
I do not think that invertebrates such as cephalopods and crustaceans should be protected. This is because not only are they a major part of the fishing industry, they're also part of economic gains for small or low-income countries. If these were to be protected, it would mean that there would be restrictions on the capture and sale of these animals. This would be detrimental to small-scale farmers, those that depend on these animals for their livelihood. It would also mean that these restrictions would actually now further the fishing of these animals, because then you will have issues of smuggling and also issues of increases in price, because once something is restricted, there will be people who consider it a delicacy, and this will now just increase crime in the fishing industry, because people will now be forced to secretly capture these animals and sell them. So farmers that originally depended on them for their livelihood will also not have access, and it would also just lead to overfishing, as people will now do it secretly. So I think this is not very beneficial.
Many countries such as USA, China, and India are making more plans for the exploration of the space, to put maybe like a lot of ambitious plans for their national space agencies, and also including such missions as to sending people to Mars. Such commercial flights seems to be interesting to some people and may lead to a lot of technological challenges that stand before sending people to Mars can help to provide more technical assistance to people in the future and result in better technologies. But in my opinion, there's too many unsolved problems here on our planet that we should take more seriously and take first, like the hunger and the water quality around the poor countries, and also the climate change issues. So there, and as well as the overfishery and many other problems. So I believe that we should use money more efficiently, and therefore the rich countries should put their money more to the development to the solving of such more critical issues on our planet. And we also can explore the oceans more, and it will also result in a lot of technological challenges and innovations. So in conclusion, I would say that, in my opinion, the space exploration can wait before we make the life on our planet better and solve the current issues.
This is the end of section 6.